right, so the first thing we always want to do is write down the original problem before we try to do anything else. So 310 is equal to negative 6.2 times f. And we can show the multiplication symbol or not. It's up to us. I like to show it to remind me what's happening. So I'll ask, what is happening that the f is not alone, knowing that our goal is to get one f that doesn't have anything added or subtracted to it. So, sorry, what number is with f? Yeah, and how is it attached? What is keeping these things together? Yeah, so we always want to think about what operation. I always do that. M-U-L-T. What operation and what number. So we multiply by negative 6.2. So then to undo this, remember the vocab word that we're trying to learn is inverse operations. What's the inverse operation to multiplication? Division. So we want to divide, and what's the number we want to get rid of? Yeah, negative 6.2. So we want to divide by negative 6.2. So we should actually say divide by. So when we come over here and do that, we can actually draw that to look like a fraction because we know fractions are division. Now, can I just do it on the right side? No, and that's a trap a lot of people fall into. They set this up and they get excited because this is going to reduce out for us and it's going to be really nice. But we can't forget to do this on the other side also. So on the right side, what is a number divided by itself? 1. So we got the 1f that we want. We don't have any other addition or subtraction. So we got our 1f plus or minus 0, right? We don't want any other subtraction. This symbol means addition or subtraction. So this is kind of like our goal. Remember, one variable, nothing added or subtracted. So we have to do this math, right? Before we do the math, my advice is always determine the sign. So with a positive 310 divided by a negative 6.2, is our answer going to be positive or negative? Negative, because we have one negative value. And then this division, I'm not really sure. We can use a calculator. Yeah, you can use a calculator. Unless I specifically tell you not to use a calculator, you can use one. And actually, a lot of the activities in Khan, I think, have a little button for a calculator to, like, pop up. So, yeah, you can use... So, in a calculator, we already determined our answer is going to be negative. All we have to do is the division, the 310 divided by 6.2. That's all we have to type in. Then we'll put that answer here. I think it's going to be around 50. Oh, that's a minus. So that's the problem. This is what's happening. We just figured it out. Like, we just figured out what's happening with your stuff. You need to get a handheld calculator so that it actually has a negative button. So if you notice on my calculator, I have the minus, but then down here, this is the negative button. Same thing with the other, like the scientific calculators. This is a more fancy calculator. But even with the scientific calculators, which I don't have one at my desk, I lied, I do. So if we wanted to do that in one of the scientific calculators, we would say 310 divided by, we can't do minus. It will give us an error. So down here, there is a negative that we can use instead of that minus. So if I clear this and I switch that minus to a negative, it's slightly smaller and slightly higher. All right, then I can get my answer of negative 50. Now, we didn't even need to type the negative in, though, because we already knew that our answer would be negative. So all we really need to do is figure out what number goes in here, and that number is 50. because that division got 50 for us. So our 1f, or we could just say just f, our f is negative 50. Yeah, for anybody out there in my math class that's having issues with that, there's a huge difference between the minus button and the negative button. Anytime you end up with a result that gives you like syntax error or any other error, it normally comes from you trying to divide with a negative that isn't actually negative. You're actually dividing with the minus, and that doesn't work. It literally does not work in your calculator, because your calculator is just a robot. It's just following the orders that you give it. So yeah, anytime you get a syntax error, well, not anytime, but a lot of times you should check, did we use the negative button?